Good afternoon, kings and queens, and welcome to Believe in Yourself Tuesday. I'm your host, Lakina Folks. Some of the most inspiring stories are those that start from hard places. All success deserves to be applauded, but there's something about the individual that has persevered and succeeded against all odds. And their story inspires us to reach a little bit higher. Our guest today is surely an example of someone who has fled adversity and risen above his circumstances. He is an entrepreneur, community leader, and one of the Detroit's 2021 recipients of the Spirit of Detroit Award. His name is Lavish Williams, and we're going to chat with him right after this.
1, 2, 3, 4. Believe in yourself. You can't speak for nobody else. Believe in your dream. There's nothing you cannot achieve. Believe. I do
Well, welcome to Believe in Yourself Tuesday. Lavish, it is a pleasure to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank
welcome. So Lavish, tell us about your childhood. I know your mom had became sick at a very early age. How did that change life for you?
Well, it wasn't that she became sick. She was pregnant, gave birth to me, and in the process had a stroke.
Oh, wow.
And having a stroke left her paralyzed. So I didn't have the same childhood that other individuals had, other children had.
Yeah.
When I came home from the hospital, my grandparents brought me home.
Okay.
My mother stayed behind because, again, she had a stroke and became paralyzed, and she had to relearn life all over again.
Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't have the same experiences with my mother that other kids got to have with their mother as far as playing sports, riding bikes, sports activities, and all that kind of stuff. And it was kind of challenging because my mother, again, she was paralyzed.
Right.
And one half of her body did not function the same way as everybody else's mother's body functioned.
Wow.
So it was a lot of teasing going on when I was a child because
Okay.
she was very different.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me who I am today. It made me, have tough skin.
Mm-hmm. Made you tough.
Yeah, you had to be because
Yeah.
it was either get laughed at and run home crying, or get laughed at and figure out a way not to keep getting laughed at.
Right. Wow.
Yeah, so it was kind of challenging, but again, it made me who I am today to be able to relate to handicapped individuals.
Okay.
And also groomed me to be the man that I am as far as how to handle and take care of people and not to judge people because of their handicaps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
And a lot of people don't understand why I'm the way I am.
Wow.
A lot of it has to do, life in general, but
Yeah.
my childhood has a lot to do with my adulthood as well.
Wow. So your childhood had a lot to do with how you are today and how you interact with people and do things.
Some of it, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing. You had your grandmother there to
Grandparents.
Grandparents.
Yeah,
to help
grandparents.
raise you.
Yep. Grandmother and grandfathers. We
Wow.
all stayed in the same house.
Wow. And your mom was in the house as well.
Correct.
Wow.
Until she, went off and got her own home.
Okay.
Yeah, my mother, she's a fighter. She's still
good.
paralyzed. She's still, from the stroke, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing stops her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she still lives life as
So
if
she's
she's
tough
just like
too.
me and you. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
She drives, she works. Well, she's retired now.
Okay.
Homeowner.
Awesome.
It was just a minor setback.
Yeah.
That was it, just a minor setback.
Wow.
I guess it slowed her down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you really got a lot of your strength from your mom because
From the family in general.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm a grandparent's child,
Right.
but together with my mother, my grandmother, and my grandfather, all three of them, three different personalities.
Yeah.
All
shape
taught
you.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
they all played a part.
That's good. That's good. That's good. So, Lavish, when did you start getting in trouble as a kid?
I think children in general, they grow up getting in trouble.
Okay.
That's just a part of life. Your mom tell you don't go across the street, you sneak across the street.
Right.
I think as you grow, the troubles, different. They're different. Your mom tell you to come in at 9 o'clock, you come in at 9:30.
Right.
So the troubles vary on what you would describe troubles. But for me, I was a typical kid, and I did typical things that a young boy would do.
Okay.
As a child, growing up to a teenager. Not too bad.
Okay.
Typical skipping school, getting suspended from school, truancy,
Yeah.
going through the adolescent stage. That was bad at that time, because who wanted to hear the school calling home because you were misbehaving in school? So that was the teenage bad years.
Okay. Okay. What about, being a teenager? Because those troubles are different from adolescent age. So was it the same kind of skipping school? Did it evolve
Teenage.
to something else?
So let me tell you about me, teenage, going from high school on up to adulthood.
Okay.
I was a very smart kid. School didn't really challenge me.
Okay.
I did a lot of reading, and I did a lot of education stuff in school, but no one really seen that. They never really paid attention because I was cool. I had to hang with the cool kids, and the cool
Right.
kids didn't study.
Right.
So my difference was, in high school, all of my friends that I hung around with, they were not the coolest kids in school as far as my classmates. They were the smart ones. And with them being the smart ones, they didn't fit in with the cool kids. So I was the cool kid to the uncool kid,
Okay.
but then also the cool kid to
The
the other
side.
kids. So I didn't, they didn't bother them because that was my group.
Okay.
And within that group, we did a lot of studying, a lot of homework. So it'd be times I would miss class, but I always have a relationship with them to know
Wow.
exactly what was going on. I remember one year, my 12th grade year, we had a final exam, and we had to read the book, The Native Son. That's what the final exam was on. And I was missing so much school, but I'll turn in work, and they're like, you got to read this book. We're going to have a quiz on it, a test, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, no problem. I'll read it. I read it like 2 days before the test. Went to class, passed the test. The teacher thought I cheated on the test.
Wow.
I said, no, I read the book. All my other friends, they failed.
Wow.
And they're like, how did you pass? And it was like, because when I went home, I read it. You read it? Yeah, so a lot of times, I just did things people just didn't see. Again, high school, I was hanging around with the neighborhood kids, seeing stuff, doing stuff that in today's world is nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Yeah.
After high school, I went to college, off and on through college, but then I was dealing with the troubles of the world. And what I mean by the troubles of the world is, I grew up with my grandfather. He was a strong man,
Right.
and they didn't spoil us. So it wasn't, if we want it, we can just say we want it and we got it. We had to work for it, and that was just that.
Right.
I didn't have the luxuries of asking my grandfather to buy me a pair of gym shoes. That wasn't happening, and that came from about maybe 15 years old. I got my first job at 15 years old.
Okay.
So at that point, I was on my own. Although I still lived with my grandparents, it was pretty much me funding myself. Not saying they didn't help out, because they would, but it wasn't what I wanted. It was what I needed, and it's a big difference.
Yeah.
And I just started to run the streets, and the fast cash
Okay. Fast cash.
always catches a young guy's attention.
Yeah.
And things that go along with chasing the fast cash started to happen. You know, you get in trouble here, you get in trouble there, and you really don't know the severity of these troubles because you have no one to guide you and tell you you shouldn't do this.
Right.
Because the people that's around you, they're encouraging you to do that. So you think it's fun, you think it's fine, you think it's acceptable.
Yeah.
Until bad things start to happen, and then you have to, you know, learn from those mistakes, learn from those experiences after you bumped your head.
Wow.
And that's kind of what happened with me.
That's what happened with you. Wow.
Yeah.
So with the fast cash, what was it that you were getting the fast cash with? Like, I know for me, you know, back in the day, fast cash for me was, you know, I sold some drugs here and there. You know, bagging up a couple things.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Fast cash. What was your fast cash?
I didn't mess around. I didn't mess around with drugs.
Okay.
Although as a young guy, you try to dibble and dabble to find your niche.
Okay.
And that just wasn't mine.
Okay.
I didn't have the patience for it. I thought it was kind of dumb. Just the risk that individuals were taking,
Yeah.
and the money. Like I say, I read into a lot of stuff, and I was looking at, okay, well, if you spend this amount of money, you got to take this amount of risk, and then you're gonna make a total of X amount of dollar. Then when you subtract that, you walk away with a profit of this. Wow, that's a lot of work just to walk away with this. That's
So you
not
put a lot of
gonna work.
thought into it.
Correct.
A lot of people don't do that.
No, because they get caught up and they
Yeah.
just think that this is the way. And then their thinking for me was, I'm just gonna keep doing it and growing and growing and growing it.
Right.
And that wasn't for me. I just found other ways to do other things, and it wasn't just one set thing.
Okay.
I was just, as I would call it, just an all around guy.
All around guy.
All around guy, good and bad.
Okay.
So it's not that a lot of stuff was illegal or wrong. It was just whatever made sense at that particular time. Some good, some bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So you know, sometimes it was mistakes made,
Yeah.
and you had to learn from them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you change? What happened to make you feel like you wanted to live life differently?
Okay. Well, let's talk about past life. I grew up knowing right from wrong.
Right.
Okay, because I want to establish that I grew up knowing right from wrong, but we get so caught up in keeping up with what's going on around you with your peers. You get caught up on what everybody else is doing. You get caught up on what's cool, and that's what you gravitate to, and you keep going to what's cool. And that's what I want to be. I want to be cool. I want to do this. I want to do that. And then you get to a point where nothing else matters because you only care about this. And you feel that everybody else that's watching you cares.
Yeah.
And they really don't. So for me, it was watching people lose their lives. It was watching people get incarcerated. It was watching people lose relatives. I got a call out of town that my grandmother was sick. Now my grandmother, she holds the family together. She was sick, and for me, nothing in the world is gonna come before my family. And I said to myself, I cannot let anything happen to me that's going to hinder, stop, or prevent me from easily getting to any of my relatives when I want to. So if I make the wrong mistake and something bad happens to me, I cannot live with myself. So that started to shape me into changing. And with the change, it came a lot of ups and downs, but that's where it started from.
With family.
It started with family.
With the family.
Because I'm like the head of the family to a degree. I'm the first grandson from a female family. And they look to me as the muscle and the mind. And I can't disappoint them. I wasn't going to disappoint them.
Yeah.
So I had to eliminate a lot of stuff that I was doing and figure another way. Because again, I'm not dumb. I'm not slow. It's not that I don't know what's right from wrong. I just had to change my thought pattern and redirect what I was doing into a positive.
Yeah.
And as I started to redirect that into a positive, it didn't happen fast. It didn't happen overnight. It just took me being strong-minded to say, I can't let nothing happen to me, because if something happens to my relative, especially my grandmother, I can't live with myself. I won't be able to live with myself.
So your why, mainly for your change, your growth development in yourself, became your family. So that was your why that made you passionate to change.
Correct.
Wow.
And within the change, I mean, it opened up so many doors that I was not planning on seeing. I didn't think about seeing. Wasn't even expecting. I was doing it just because, hey, listen, I can't let nothing happen.
Tell us about some of those doors that it opened when you began to make that change.
So when I started to make that change, I want to tell you, I started my tow company with my grandmother alive, with my grandparents, with my family. They seen me start this tow company, but this tow company was a hustle. And I say it was a hustle because at that particular time when I thought it was a business, it wasn't a business because it wasn't structured like a business. Within change, you meet people. And when you meet people, they can direct you and teach you if you're willing to listen and learn.
Right.
And I was willing to listen and learn, which that tow truck that I had that I thought was a business, which was not a business, became a business because I had to restructure how the operation was ran.
Wow.
Yeah. So with me restructuring the way the operation was ran, I started meeting different people. I was carrying myself a different way. My image of the company had changed. And it opened doors because now I'm networking, meeting people. People seen the trucks. People heard the name because I was very heavy into the advertising and marketing.
Okay.
I did that very well. People knew Lavish Towing before they even knew who I was. You know, so it was really easy to advertise and get people to know who I was. Okay. It was taking it to the next level. Of people wanting to use Lavish Towing. We need Lavish Towing, call Lavish Towing, to the point where now when people say Lavish, the first thing is that the guy with the tow truck? Yeah, so I did very well.
That's awesome.
Branding the business, and with branding the business opened up doors of networking. Lots of networking.
Awesome. That's awesome. So as you begin to change yourself, it also helped change your business.
It helped change the business, and again, it goes hand in hand. You change yourself, you start changing the people that you're around.
Right.
You're gonna lose some friends. You can't take everybody with you.
Right. That's so true.
You know, everybody's not gonna be happy for you. You have to really accept that and understand that and be willing to deal with that. Yeah. Some people aren't. Some people try to ride that fence. It doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah.
You gotta be really strong-minded. You almost gotta have a I don't care attitude, but care. People won't understand that.
That's good. Having a don't care attitude, but care.
But care.
Yeah.
Some people say, huh?
Yeah.
But it's strictly it's business.
Right.
If it comes down to you and me and my business, I'm going to choose my business over you. I just want you to know that.
That's good.
I love you and all that stuff. I got your back, but I'm not going to put
It's
what I
just
worked
business.
for
Right.
at risk.
Yeah.
I can't do that. Call me what you want. You gotta be prepared for all the name calling. Oh, you change. You ain't the same. You this. I'm not the same.
Yeah.
Every day I change. I'm a different person. I'm going for better.
That's good. That's good. So not only do you have a towing company, what other businesses do you have?
I got a hand car wash.
Okay.
I got a hand car wash. I own some real estate, residential and commercial.
Okay.
And also I do lavish. I have a lavish mentoring program. And I deal with various different youth from 16 to 24 at-risk youth. And I just pretty much talk to them as a big brother or as a person that has been there.
That's awesome. Is it just for males or for male and
right now
female?
it's just all men.
Okay.
I haven't had any females at all. But it's giving them a person to really look at that can relate to them. You know, so many times you have unrelatable people that try to mentor individuals and they can't talk their same language.
Yeah.
So they definitely can't understand They can't understand the individual. And that's hard. How can you mentor me if you don't know my struggles?
Yeah.
You don't have an idea of what it's like growing up, how I grew up. That's not a good mentor. You have to have people that know the struggles, that been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're giving back to the community, the young boys, and that's amazing.
Giving back, in the community thing.
Yeah.
That
Tell us
was
a little bit about your community work.
It was all accidental.
Wow. Well, really not by accident. It's actually divine.
Yeah,
We
definitely
sometimes
divine.
think it's accident, but it's really what you supposed to do anyway.
It just happened.
Yeah.
Me in this community stuff, let me tell you, I had no idea, no plans, no ambitions, no goals on doing anything community related in life. Period. I had my cousin called me to speak at her school. She's a school teacher. She called me and asked, can I do a career day? And I told her no. What am I doing at a school talking to kids? I'm a tow truck driver. What can I possibly share with some elementary kids? No. And she begged me, come on, you gotta do it. She talked me into it.
Okay.
And I went, and
You loved it.
Well, I went and I looked at her and I'm like, I'm only doing this because of you. I don't want to be here.
Okay.
I don't have anything to say to some kids. What can I say to these kids? So I go in there and I'm talking to these kids, don't know what I'm going to say, don't know what I'm going to share to them. And they had a whole bunch of questions in the career day thing. It just ended up being great.
Wow.
It ended up being great. It got on social media. After that, someone else reached out to me to come talk to their kids
Wow.
at their school. And I said the same thing. But I'm like, man, what is this, man? Call Lavish to speak to the kids stuff? Man, goodness gracious, I'm not doing this. So I did it again. And it was great. And then for me to see the reactions of the children, it brought me back to when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you had different individuals or parents of the children. They'll come into the school and they'll talk to the kids. I don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
You're not seeing that in schools anymore. And children remember that kind of stuff. So when I seen the reaction from them children, from the kids' faces and the questions and the smiles, it did make me feel some type of way.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, because that was like a genuine make me feel some type of way type of thing.
Okay.
And then I did it again. So I was like, wow, man, I like this stuff. So now I'm being creative and now I'm being more interactive with the kids because it's like I understand them. They just want somebody to talk to them.
Yeah.
And the Detroit police reached out to me. And I had went somewhere, they were doing something for the kids. I went there, started doing community stuff with the police. And it was great. And they started to invite me to a lot of things. And just a big old gumbo of events put me in the directions and different directions to meet different people, to share with me different community events that was going on. And I started going to them. And I enjoyed them, just talking to people. I mean, people, you might live in your own neighborhood for 30 years, 40 years, and there's somebody in that same neighborhood you never even paid attention to.
Right. Yeah.
And then when you meet them and you share a story with them or they talk about something, it's like, wow, I never knew that. And you learn so much. So I learned so much from these people, and I enjoy doing it. I enjoy giving back my time.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
So it really was no coincidence what you were really meant to do, and then you got your mentoring
Yeah.
program now that came out of that.
It came out of that. It came
out
out of that. And like I say, people call me, and I just give them a real life version of a story.
Yeah.
Whenever they ask me something, I tell them the truth.
Yeah.
I say, you might not like this, but this is what I think.
I mean, your story is quite the inspiration, for, anybody, doing this as a young kid. Now you're a successful business owner.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
You're speaking and you're growing. And
All by accident.
Right.
All by accident. The speaking thing.
Yeah.
I don't like speaking
Yeah.
if I don't have to.
Right.
But I've been doing it so much over the last few years, that it feels like the thing to do, to share some insight, to help somebody. If I know that it only takes me 5 minutes to talk to the group of young men that's outside the gas station, for them to see and hear a different perspective of life, and at least one of them understands, they can share it to their little group of friends, and to make a difference makes me feel good, because I played my part to not be a part of the problem but a solution.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and I also do community give backs, food distributions. I give back to the community any way I can.
That's good.
You know, I feel like for me, I owe it to them, and I enjoy doing it. Everybody come from different backgrounds. We all do not have the same family. We don't have the same type of emotional support.
Right.
We don't have the same type of financial support. Some of us don't have any type of spiritual support.
Yeah.
So when I know I can help out in one of those areas to an individual, it just makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah.
And maybe if people, as I said earlier, people follow what they think is cool.
Yeah.
But if we use our energy and people see what I'm doing, maybe somebody will follow and say, well, that's nice that what he's doing. He's giving back. And he doesn't look nothing but cool by doing that.
Right.
Maybe they'll jump on the same bandwagon, and then they'll go out there and help out the community.
Yeah.
And I can't say change will happen overnight, but if you have people that's steady fighting for the change, steady fighting to curb the crime, curb the violence by talking to these individuals, just one day we might get it together.
Yeah. You're quite the influencer. So it just befitting that you won the Crave Honors award, the Spirit of Detroit Award, this just a few weeks ago.
Correct.
So how did that make you feel when you won it?
So I went to the Crave Honors last year. I was nominated. I did not win.
Okay.
But I said, okay, there's no problem. I'm not doing it to win.
Yeah.
The things that I do, I just do them because I do them. Has nothing to do with I'm going to do it because I want to win an award. So this year, when I actually won, I was shocked.
Okay.
I was shocked to receive 2 awards.
Yes.
And then a Spirit of Detroit Award. That makes my second Spirit of Detroit Award. But I was shocked but happy at the same time, because it's showing me that, Lavish, people are paying attention to you.
Yeah.
Although you might not see it or think it, people are watching you and paying attention to you.
Absolutely.
And with that, it keeps me grounded to know, hey, you got somebody watching you. So whoever's watching me, I can't say who it might be, but for me, it might be that young teenager. It might be that young, troubled guy that might see me, and I could play a part in his life for his change.
Yeah.
So that's what I do it for.
That's good. That's good.
So I was shocked and very happy to get that, award. Like, wow, 2 of them.
That's good. Yeah. So congratulations.
Thank you.
For that
Thank you.
again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, and you absolutely deserve it. All the things that you're doing for community, and all the things you've done in the past, and the other things that you're about to do.
Yeah, and nobody really knows what a person is doing. It's so many people. I mean, in Detroit, we got a population of, they say it's about 600,000. It could be around 500 and something, close to 600,000 now. But out of that population, no one can really pay attention to what everybody is doing.
That's right.
And so many times, it's a lot of people in the community doing a lot of great things, but it's never talked about. You don't get media coverage on that. You don't get any big names to share the things that's going on in the community. If you're not a big name yourself, you get overlooked. But there's so many different individuals that's out here in the community doing such a great job, doing great work.
Yeah.
They're doing a lot of work, and they're not being acknowledged, and it's not stopping them. They're doing it because it's from their heart.
Yeah,
and
it's from the heart.
And they feel it.
Yeah.
And they feel it, and that's the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
But I wish they're making a huge difference. I just wish that a lot more people could see that. Yeah. That is people out there, because just like the Crave Honors Award, there is a lot of hidden gems
Yes.
within our community,
It is.
and they should be acknowledged before they die, and then they
Yeah.
become a story of the young man over here, the elderly guy over there, the lady over there, and what they did. They should be acknowledged now, and their knowledge should be passed on to other individuals.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
That's good. That's good. So, Lavish, you're currently running for police commissioner in District 2.
Yes.
And what will you do different than the last commissioner when you win?
Okay, so let me say this. Yes, I am running for Detroit Police Commissioner for District 2. This is my first political run.
Okay.
I'm running to make a difference. You might hear that from every politician that runs. They say that they're running to make a difference. What I plan on doing different than the current commissioner is listening to the people.
Okay.
In order to start, you have to start with the people that put you there. And the people that put you there are the voters.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we forget that. We forget that we work for the voters.
Yeah.
We work for the people that put us in this position. And we have to be able to listen to the needs and the concerns of the community. So my focus is going to be, one, focusing on the community needs, listening to the issues from the community standpoint. I don't know everything that's going on.
Yeah.
So if I don't know, I can't stop the problems. So what I plan on doing different than the current commissioner is being more involved in the community to understand the needs of the community and build relationships. That's the first start to finding and fighting the problem. In order to find and fight the problem, you have to listen to them, and listening to them, you go back to the table and work on finding a solution.
Right. So you listen to their needs, you're going to build relationships, and
Correct.
then you're going to find a solution to their needs and what the problem is, so you
Correct.
can help the community.
Correct.
That's good.
That's the first thing that I plan on doing as police commissioner.
That's good.
And I also want to build the transparency factor up with the neighborhood and the police officers, because we're going to have police, they're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And we're going to have neighbors. We have to find an equal balance where the citizens can trust the police.
Yeah.
But we also have to have police officers that understand the citizens and know how to deal with them and communicate with them and treat them. Oftentimes, it's not always like that.
Yeah.
And you have to have somebody that's going to hold the police accountable for everything that they're doing.
That's awesome. Awesome. So, I mean, it's only befitting for you because you into the community, the
Correct.
things that you're doing. You're so approachable, so they can come and talk to you. It's not going to be like I'm the police commissioner.
Right.
You know,
Right.
they're going to be able to come talk to you and express to you what their concerns are, and you'll be able to
Absolutely.
find a solution to what it is.
Absolutely. And that's what we need. You get people that campaign, and we see them because they need your vote.
Yeah.
And we don't see them anymore. Me, I live in my community. I live in my district.
Yeah.
I'm a Mumford Mustang alumni.
Okay.
So District 2, I've been there my whole life.
Yeah.
I made relationships with people, and there's more people that I want to gain relationships with. And I don't want them to ever feel as if Lavish T. Williams, the guy that they elected, if elected, they can never get in contact with me. And they can never get issues and problems taken care of.
Yeah.
I want them to feel like it doesn't matter what it is. When I reach out to him, he gets things done. And if he can't get it done, he's going to direct me to someone that possibly can get it done and have an open relationship with him.
Yeah.
A lot of times people want to feel as if you're doing something, as if you care. You don't get that with a lot of individuals.
Yeah, that's so true.
And I want to make myself available to everybody in my district and in the city to deal with all types of different issues and problems dealing with law enforcement. I want to make sure we can stay on top of issues regarding police reform, police brutality, citizen complaints, police misconduct.
Yeah.
Those are big issues.
Those are very big
Facial
issues.
recognition, body cams, all of those things deal with the police commissioner's position. Budgets, policy changes. A lot of people don't know what the job describes or what the job entails. Sometimes you have to educate them, and I've been finding myself educating a lot of individuals since I've been campaigning on the job of the police commissioner.
Wow, that's awesome.
And they should know. But just because they don't know, I don't judge them. I just educate them so that they'll know the function. And you need people that's in place that's going to actively get out there in the community that does not have a problem sharing and educating to the unknown, to the people that don't know, that's unknown to this position, those type of issues, those type of the job description.
Yeah.
You know, so
It's no doubt that you should win and you should have the police commissioner.
well, that's definitely
Yeah.
the goal.
Yeah.
If people pay attention to my background, if people pay attention to the things that I do and how active I am, they should definitely put me in.
Yeah.
They should definitely put me in. But we need people to come out. We need individuals that's going to come out and vote.
Yeah.
We cannot change anything if we're not voting. And a lot of people, they say, well, my vote doesn't count. What is my vote going to do? It's going to do a lot. And I tell people this analogy. I say, listen, if you litter out your car and you say, what is this tissue that I just threw out my window going to do? If you got 30 different people doing that same thing with the same piece of tissue, it's going to be a pile.
Yeah.
It's going to change the way that this neighborhood looks. So if you go and you vote, and all these people that say my vote is not going to count, if you go out there and vote, those numbers are going to add up, and it's going to make a difference.
Yes, it is. So if our audience is in District 2 in Detroit, Michigan, please vote for Lavish T. Williams
Absolutely.
as the police commissioner. So I pray that you win that spot. So tell our audience where they can find you, your website, social medias, handles, all that good stuff.
Okay, everything is Lavish T. Williams. You can find me. I'm on all social media links. I'm real active on Facebook and Instagram, Lavish T. Williams. That's my page on both of those. I'm on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn, Lavish T. Williams. You can go to my website, lavishtwilliams.com. And you can find me also at lavishtowing.com. Those are my links. If anybody wants to find me, if anybody wants to look up my bio, you can Google Lavish T. Williams. It'll come up. But I'm actively on Instagram and Facebook. If you inbox me, you're normally going to get a response within a couple hours.
Okay. All right, Lavish. So one last thing, if a parent is watching and they may be dealing with a troubled kid, such as how you were,
Okay.
what advice would you tell them? What advice would you tell them to tell their child?
Sometimes you have to, in this day and age, you have to be very careful, because the mind of a child now is a lot different than it was then. The way that children craved for attention then is a lot different than now. And I want to explain to you what I mean by that. When I was growing up, we said and did anything for attention to try to get what we want.
Right.
We would say, oh, I'm going to run away. I'm going to kill myself. And our parents was go kill yourself.
Right.
Go
Right.
go run away.
Right.
See, we're living in an era now you can't do that. And it's a lot of mental issues going on out here, and we need a lot of mental health checks out here. You have a lot of children out here that are actually killing themselves and running away. They can't deal with the pressures of the world.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very careful with them troubled people. I'll advise parents to actually seek help. See, when I was growing up, you didn't really seek help. You didn't really go see counselors or anything like that. The era that we grew up, some of us, we were just fine. Others wasn't so fine. The era that we lived in now, we can't play around with these children. We cannot take their cry as just attention.
Right.
Because that attention that they're crying for is real attention that's needed. A lot of parents nowadays, even myself, we work a lot.
Yeah.
Everything is social media. You have social bullying. You have what's labeled cool, what's labeled to fit in. So we have all those issues that we gotta think about, that we gotta worry about when it comes down to our children. Then we also have children that are misguided because they don't have a father in the house. They don't have an active mother. They don't have any role models. So I say that they need to go out and find those. Let's get these kids back in sports. It's hard to keep them at the parks and the rec centers because a lot of times they're closed.
Yeah.
Due to COVID, you have children, some parents, they don't want their kids around socialization, so they're isolated. I feel that that's messing with their mental because now they don't know how to communicate with individuals. They're in a dark spot. Parents need to get their kids out in active activities. We have to make time as a parent for our children to learn our children.
Yeah.
Because they're not the same children that we were when we were growing up. It's a lot of kids out here now, 20, 21. They're still dependent on their parents.
Yes.
And it's because parents, they handicap their kids at times without even knowing they're doing that. Because they go back to their childhood. I don't want my kid need nothing.
Yeah.
I don't want my kid going without this.
Yeah, you hear a lot of that. Yeah.
You know, and it's great, but you have to make them children work for that kind of stuff. And it's hard to share that with parents.
Yeah.
Because the parents get the money, they don't have the time, they compensate their time with the money and the gifts. These children are growing up, and these kids, they don't know how to go out there and get it themselves. When the parents are unable to go out here and buy them these expensive clothes and shoes, what do these kids do? They go and they look for ways to get these items,
Right.
and sometimes it comes with a price.
Yeah.
You know, they go out there and violence come, shoplifting, theft, all types of trouble. It takes a lot of parenting. Parents have to make time for their kids or put them into programs, put them into boxing, put them into sports where, hey, it's not a father at the house, but he got this coach over here. A lot of times, children that's coming from single homes, they might not have a real father figure, but then their coach becomes their father figure.
Right.
They don't want to disappoint their coach. They want to keep their coach proud. And then there's relationships that will be built between that individual and the coach. And he'll learn as he goes if he wants to.
Okay. So putting them in activities, spending time with them, and listening to those needs when they are crying out for attention.
Right.
And just really listening to that, you know, and
Right.
like you said, back in the day, they'll say, okay, go run away. And
Right.
they'll be like,
And you'll go do it, but you wouldn't, because I told
Right,
my
you
grandparents, I'm running away. I'm about to pack my bags and leave.
Right.
And my grandmother say, well, I'm going to help you.
right,
And then I'll look, you just going to let me run away?
right,
Well, yeah, you said you wanted to run away,
Right.
so go ahead.
right,
But now you can't
right. You
do
can't
that
do
with
that
these
now.
kids
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
So everything is so sensitive.
Yes,
It's
yes.
so sensitive. It's no right way
Yeah.
besides a lot of attention and a lot of love. Some
Yeah,
kids
a
don't
lot
even
of
feel
love.
like,
That's it.
parents
Love.
love them.
Yeah.
They don't.
Yeah.
Some people don't know what it's like to love. Some parents don't. Some parents feel like they're doing, like I said earlier, some parents feel like working and taking care of their child financially is all that's needed. when sometimes a child might want to go to a game with their mother or they dad. They just want to spend some time with them. They just want to feel loved.
Yeah.
They're not getting that.
So I think that's the big key, is showing the children love.
Absolutely.
So, Lavish T. Williams, it has been a pleasure having you on the show today and just having a chat and talk with you. It has been so good, and thank you so much for joining me.
No,
today
thank
and
you.
being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you, kings and queens, for joining me on the show today. And as our guest, Lavish T. Williams, said, he grew up, he had, a hard life and went through some adversities and some challenges, but it shaped him. It made him tough. It made him tough in business and being the man who he is today. So no matter what you go through in life, it can also help shape who you are. And just because you go through some hard challenges in life does not mean that your life is over. Work on yourself, do some self-development, read books, educate yourself. And sometimes you have to change your circle because everybody can't go where you're going. Everybody can't go where you're going. And those dreams that you had when you were a kid, just dream again. I oftentimes say that a lot. Dream again and be that person who it is that you wanted to be. Be that person now, because you can be that person now. Because why? You are enough and you can do it. And as I always say, everything you need is right there inside of you. All you have to do is believe in yourself. Thank you, kings and queens, for joining me, and have a great week.